There are three main reasons why I decided to buy a crash-damaged Mercedes C43 AMG. Reason one being I only ever buy cars that I like, and I actually really like the look of the C43 AMG. Reason two is I don't actually think the damage is that bad, and reason three is the price. I thought it was a really good value car, and it's a really nice car to work on as well. In the previous videos, we got the car into the workshop, we stripped down all the damage off the car and started buying new or used parts to rebuild it with. And once everything was test fitted, it went off to the body shop to have everything painted, and now it's come back and we can now put the car fully back together. And at the end of this video, you will be able to win this car on Compete for Cars for just £2.99. Oh, and at the end of the video, we'll have a complete cost breakdown of how much this costs to fix and buy as well. And it's on a trailer because it's just come back from the body shop where it's had the bonnet painted, the wings painted, the front bumper and the doors blended. So in today's video, we're going to get it into the workshop and put all those panels back on the car, and hopefully we can finish it off. On top of getting all these panels fitted, needs a good interior valet in here. And also there's a few electrical gremlins. Where's my start button? It does still say that we've got active bonnet protection, even though, there you go, look, active bonnet malfunction. Even though I've pushed them down, apparently that should reset it, and it hasn't. So I'm gonna have a little play with those. But worst case, I have bought two new active bonnet little pyrotechnic things. They weren't expensive, I think about 25 or 30 quid for both. So worst case, I'm hoping we can just replace those. But for now, let's get her off. So as I said, the bonnet has now been painted to match the colour of the car, and it is looking really nice. It has got to go, once I've put the panels back on, it's got to go to be cut and polished. But no, it's a really nice colour actually. I really do like a deep blue. We've got one of the wings just down here as well, and the other one is just on a box. And we have the front bumper here as well. Now I've spent about hour putting all these trims back in, because we had to take all the trims out to paint the bumper, so I've putting them all back together. I've also put my foam pad back in. I have had to adjust it slightly by just cutting some of the foam under here so it fits nice and flush, because obviously this is not the original bumper of the car. This is a C63 style bumper as opposed to the C43. I've put my new air tube in here, which is for the airbags, and I have just held the foam pad in place with a couple of cable ties just so it sits in position, because otherwise it just falls out. So I do need to rectify the wiring for these, because if you see here, look, they are broken. I have two new wiring clips for these, because the other side is very similar, broken as well. So we're going to replace both of those before the front bumper can go on. And yes, and that active bonnet detonator things are just under here, and they come through here. Look, there's the wiring for it there, so we'll have a look at those. But other than that, I think it's pretty much just put it back together. Headlights obviously done in the last video. Yeah, I think we've got to relocate the horns as well, because from memory they were supposed to be bolted here, as you can see, but it just stuck out a bit too much and it was hitting the bumper, so may have to relocate these to maybe the back side of the crash bar. But we'll see once we try and fit the mud or the wheel arch liners as well, see if it interferes with those. Right, first thing, I'm going to plug in my OBD11 and read the codes, because now OBD11 works with Mercedes as well. Yeah, so one of the main benefits to OBD11 is that it's really small and you can forget about it and leave it plugged into your car because it doesn't drain the battery. But that's exactly what I've done. I've forgotten about it. I've left it plugged into my RS3, which is at home. So I will do some more OBD goodness a little bit later on the video, but for now, yeah, just to mention that OBD11 are now officially licensed by Mercedes for diagnostics. So these are my two OE connectors that I'm just gonna cut into the loom. So I'll just put them into the loom here, probably 2 or 3 inches further back, one each side, plug those in, and then that is the front bumper done. So to repair the wiring loom, I just spliced into the loom, used some solder connectors, heat wrapped them as well to keep the water out, and then wrapped them up again with tape so it looks like a factory wiring loom, and then plugged them into the sensors, and then did the same with the other side as well. Now I'm going to learn from previous mistakes, and I'm going to have the car off the ramp so I can open the door further, so I can put this panel on without damaging anything. hopefully. So that goes over in there, like that. That goes up there, and that all slots in lovely. And I need a bolt because I haven't got a bolt. The wings actually went on a lot better than I remember taking them off. That's partly probably down to the fact that I'd never taken wings off a C43 before, so I was learning everything the hard way, but putting them back on was actually really simple. And then the front bumper on as well, just making sure that all that lines up and there's nothing in the way. I relocated my horns to the back of the crash bar. Absolutely fine, really easy to do, and that is sorted too. After a little bit of fiddling, I have managed to get it all in the correct location, all plumbed into the wings, both sides. And I'm actually really happy with the fitment. I think just because it was a brand new bumper, it hadn't been fitted to a car before, it just a little bit out of shape. And you can see here, look, where it's still a little bit bowed. But once I put the wheel arch liner, which plugs into that or screws into it, that will pull it back in and it will be fine. But the next thing I need to do now is just check the bonnet fitment and make sure the lines are nice and flush across the top there. But to do that, I need to sort out my bonnet actuate things, and I've now got my OBD11. There you go, that's how small it is. So I'm going to plug that in now, and we're going to have a look at these and try and clear the codes for these. So I've just plugged in the OBD11 into the car, and I'm just reading it now, and we're just going to look for the codes and see what we've got and see if we can clear these ones, and if not, I'm going to plug in the new ones and see if we can then clear the codes, and if we can, I should just be able to replace them, because I was told that you can just push them back into position and that resets them. But I have done that and I've still got the warning on the dash. So we've got a fair few faults in the system, and I haven't actually plugged the front bumper in yet. Should probably do that. Try and get rid of some of these faults, because I've got a load of parking sensor faults. So that's all my parking sensors. So I should better clear those now. And then we've got airbag, look. So we got active engine hood. Yeah. Aircon, instrument. A lot of these is probably going to be due to battery, because the battery is low. So let's just clear them. See what comes back. Right, what we got? Airbag, yeah, so. Left sensor, active engine hood. Right rear, left rear. So I'm now going to unplug this one, plug in a new one, and see if that gets rid of the code. Right, so, there we go, look. That's gone. So that has cleared that fault code. So that tells me that just I need to replace them, and that is going to sort it. So I'm happy with that. And some of the other things you can do is one-click apps. You can just change little things in the car, little codings, like how long the light comes on the door handle and acoustic confirmation count when you lock the car. There's just loads of stuff you can do. Even seatbelt warning sound, we can turn that off. So, and something I turned on, which is really handy, is having your engine oil displayed on the dash, which for some reason wasn't already a ticked option, but it is now. And to celebrate joining up with Mercedes, there's a sale on between the 9th and the 30th of April. You can use my discount code, which is Salvage. I'll put it in the description. That gets you up to 25% off. But please note, this is for OBD11 3 users only. So a massive thanks to OBD11 for sponsoring today's video. So I replaced those 2 rear exploding rams, and that cleared all my faults. Time for a little drive. And outside and in one piece for the first time, bar the side skirts, because I need to do those on the ground. But I just want to take you around the car and go for a quick little drive up and down the drive, just to make sure everything's okay engine gearbox wise. But I'm going to put a couple of clips up now of how nice this paintwork is in the sun. It is such a nice colour, and I'm actually really happy with the fit. Bearing in mind this is a C43 style bumper, it was pretty much identical to like materials wise than a standard one, just where it had never been fitted to a car before. It just a little bit more flex, as in these little bits here are just out a little bit, and I haven't put the wheel arch liner in yet, but once I do that, that'll be fine. I'm mostly back in now anyway. But yeah, I'm really happy with the fit. Everything lined up bang on first time. You can see there, lines are all looking good. Bonnet lines spot on, both sides, and bumpers, yeah, it's gone up really, really nice actually. Yeah, it's a really, really nice car. I don't know why this was a Category S car, which it is down as. There's no structural damage to this whatsoever. It is purely bolt-on parts for this car, so this should have been a Category N. I don't actually see the point in a category system anymore because they just lie and nothing's ever accurate. So if nothing's ever accurate, what is the point in it? Let me know in the comments what you think about the category system. I've now got a Cat S car over there which should be Cat B, and another Cat S car which should be Cat N. So in terms of insurance, they've been recorded as the same, yet they are not even close to being the same. But yeah, let's just go for a little drive up and down. But there's no warnings on the dash at all. We are good to go there. And yeah, just got to fit the side skirts down there. And obviously it needs to go for a valet, a proper clean. And I've got to take it back to the body shop to get all the paint on here buffed up because it was just painted and it wasn't flat and polished. So it needs that to be done. And then just the wheel arch liners and under trays fitting. But other than that, she is good to go. So let's go for a little drive up and down. So because I've got to put the side skirts on off the ramp, I decided to do it outside in the nice, lovely sun. And then just when I get it back on the ramp later on, I need to put the bolts on for underneath. So that last clip of me going up and down the drive, the steering felt a little bit off and it didn't feel quite right. So when I got it back, you saw that my near side front wheel, that one, looked a little bit further back in the arch than the offside front. It just didn't look right. I found the problem. Don't know how I hadn't noticed it before, but see this bottom arm here, where it's nice and straight. If we go over to the near side front, it is not nice and straight. It is very, very bent, like so bent. I don't know how I didn't notice it before, to be honest. So that would be the cause of the wheel sitting slightly further back and obviously the steering feeling a little bit notchy. So I've just shot out this morning and got a new lower arm. So we're gonna do that now and then take it for another little drive. And then hopefully that will sorted that. And I also have to get a new steering boot because this one that I bought here that come with the tie rod is too big and it's far too big and doesn't sit over there properly. So I'll have to get a new inner steering rack boot. So this doesn't look too bad to change actually. There's just one bolt in the hub, one bolt in the subframe, and I spoke too soon. Why do manufacturers do this? There's a bolt here. And to get this bolt out now, I've got to remove the anti-roll bar because as you can see, it's never gonna come out. It's still poked through there, look. So to remove that bolt, I've now got to remove the anti-roll bar. To remove the anti-roll bar, I've now got to remove this strut brace on the engine and also this brace here. I may even have to take the side skirt back off to get to that. Oh no, I don't. Luckily I've had it unbolted. But still, I've now got to do a lot more work just because they decided to put the bolt that way in. Why didn't they just put it in from this side where there's loads of room? Why? So once I dropped all that strut brace, the anti-roll bar, and then actually the bolt for the strut as well, it did come out relatively okay. Jesus! Woo! There you go. Now, that's what it should have been. So it's bent quite a lot. I'm not even talking a couple of degrees. That's a proper boomerang. So I've done well not to notice that, to be honest. Luckily, nothing else looks bent. It all looks good. Obviously, steering arm we've already changed. And refitment was the same as taking it apart, but you may see me jack up the hub here to replicate the car being on the ground. I do this to do up the bolts then for that bottom arm, so when the car is on the ground, it isn't twisted from where I've done the bolts up at a slightly different angle. And then once I've done them, I put the under trays on as well, and then put the bolts in for my side skirts. And it's back from the body shop, and it has now been cut and polished. And look how good this car looks. I cannot believe how nice that blue looks. And I'm actually really happy with how this has come out, this car. It is a really, really nice car. It is now live on Compete for Cars, guys, so you can go grab your tickets for it. There are a few little things I need to do, but they're very small things, like the steering rack gaiters. They will be here, I think, on Monday. And then the under tray is going to go on after that, and then I'm going to take it for tracking and just an MOT. And she's done. But it is such a nice colour car, and the front end has actually come out far better than I imagined. Just in the sun, it just looks incredible. And even though this is like a C43 style bumper, it still looks really understated. It still doesn't even look like a C43. It's just, yeah, it just suits it really well. I'm really happy with how this has come out. It's a really, really nice car. Yes, it's a Category S, and yes, I've said it shouldn't have been. This should be a Category N car. There was no structural damage to this whatsoever. It's purely bolt-on parts. It didn't even need like any rad packs or condenser or anything like that. It's still got aircon gas in it from the original aircon gas. I've literally put front panel, bumper, bonnet, wings. Is incredible in this sun. Thanks to the body shop as well. They've done a really good job on this. You would never even know it's been painted. Only the fact that it's absolutely pristine on the front end. So live on Compete for Cars, guys, now £2.99 ticket. Yeah, go grab your tickets. I'm going to head in the workshop now though and talk you through exactly how much it's cost to buy and fix this. Because I think it's really good value for money, considering that's the facelift, so it's got nearly 400 horsepower. It's essentially an RS3 powered car, but with a 3 litre instead of a 2.5, and a lot cheaper. So I've actually just totted up the price and the costs and everything for the first time, and I'm actually a little bit disappointed, not disappointed, but it just goes to show you the value of this car, because like used ones on the market aren't actually that expensive, not for what you're getting. So I paid for this car $14,756 to be precise, and then I've spent on parts bumper 600, wings 250, headlights were really expensive at 1300, bonnet was 500, slam panel was 350, and I've put miscellaneous down at 500, which includes all the little bits like the LED modules on the daytime running light lamps, the wiring I had to buy, the under trays, the steering gaiters, just loads of little bit, the steering, that bottom arm that I did. Just loads of little bits like that, and that comes to another £500, which takes our grand total to £3,500 on parts. And then paint, we had £1,800 in paint. Sorry, the miscellaneous is included in that, so naught, I'll just put naught for that. So that gives us a grand total of, what's that, £5,300 spent on parts and paint. Well, that just literally takes us to 20 grand, just over 20 grand. So it's 20,056. 20 grand for a 19 plate C43 with 400 horsepower, looking as nice as that does, I would say is good value for money. But looking on the market, they're not actually that valuable. The cheapest one I found, like for like, is £26,000. HPI clear. So I guess it's about right. So there's probably not much money in that, to be fair. And just out of curiosity, I've just had a look, and the cheapest RS3 Saloon, which is very similar to that car, same power, same body shape, is actually £31,000. So the C43 actually represents really good value for money. So that is going to be it for today's video, guys. Next up, we are back on the Range Rover Sport. I've just got it into the workshop, so I'm about to start filming that. So as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Go grab your tickets for the C43 and also the RS4 as well, with the 4.2 V8 or the Touareg. And I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys.